Gilbert Burns and Khamzat Chimaev met in their last fight in April for one of the best scraps of 2022 thus so far. Their Nino tested the rising superstar tremendously, but the Russian-born fighter came out with a unanimous decision win at UFC 273. Now that Boris has silenced the doubters, the MMA world waits for his next opponent. Rumors have circulated about Chimaev potentially fighting Colby Covington, but Chaos may not be interested. During an interview with Brendan Schaub on Food Truck Diaries, Burns had this to say about who he will match up Chimaev with. "I just have a feeling that Colby is not going to accept that fight. It's supposed to be. That's the next step. If I'm a promoter, that's the fight to make. I just don't think Colby's going to accept it." So my thoughts on this: I think Colby Covington versus Khamzat Chimaev will be a crazy fight. It's so similar to probably Usman and Colby Covington's fight, because they're both are wrestlers, right? And Khamzat Chimaev is a wrestler too. So you know what happens when two wrestlers fight. It turns into a striking battle, right? We've seen that with Usman and Colby. We've seen that with grapplers and Ben Askren and Damian Maia. Even though they're not good strikers, but it will just turn into a striking affair. So that would be a banger of a fight. I think if there were to fight, I'd probably give the slight edge to Chimaev, but Colby Covington does still have a strong chance of winning because he does have really good cardio. If you can't make the Colby Covington fight, the next best thing is probably try and get a Bilal fight. I believe they can make that fight pretty easy. Depends on what Colby Covington says first. They're going to probably try and make that Colby fight first before they'll ever ask Bilal. Or you could do even another route for Khamzat Chimaev. Right now, Khamzat Chimaev has the biggest name in the welterweight division. Just look at his followers. He's next up. He's that next guy who has the biggest following. He's close to, I want to say, probably he's ahead of Colby and Usman in terms of following and hype. I want to say he's just behind like the guys like Israel, Jorge, Nate Diaz. Those guys, really, he's just right behind them in terms of probably selling ability, right? So you can do, even if Usman's out, you could do an interim fight between Khamzat Chimaev and Leon Edwards if Usman's hand is not healed in time. What else can you do? I think that's probably the best bet. I don't think Wonder Boy or these other guys are going to get Khamzat Chimaev. I don't think Wonder Boy even wants to fight Khamzat Chimaev. Or Colby Covington could actually be waited for that Dustin Poirier fight. I know Poirier recently said he wants to fight him. So even then, that'll be a great fight too. Poirier versus Colby Covington. But beating Poirier does nothing for you in terms of welterweight rankings, right? If you beat Poirier, who's a lightweight, how can you move up that far in the welterweight division? So it's going to be interesting to say what happens next. I would like to see that fight, and I think it goes Khamzat Chimaev's ways. But I could definitely see Colby winning that fight too, based off cardio. If it's a 5-round fight and Colby paces the fight right, he could potentially win too. But Dana White has a lot of work to do here. But the welterweight division, it has always been stale. Hopefully these guys just fight each other. But what are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments down below, and make sure you subscribe to keep up with all the greatest and latest news in the MMA world. Peace.